What's going on, everybody? We're going to get ready to get started in just a bit. As y'all can see on the graphic, we're going to be mainly talking about Harold Landry. And as the franchise tag period has opened yesterday. So we're definitely going to be talking about that. Hopefully, everybody come on in and make sure y'all share this show out to everybody. Whether if you're watching on YouTube, share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook. You can take a snapshot, share it on Instagram, and wherever you're getting, wherever you want to send it out on social media to kind of get some more people in. I'm going to be doing that as well in just a few as time goes on. So we are going to get ready. And we're going to get ready to get this show started. So, again, make sure y'all share this show out, share this out to everybody, and we're going to get ready to get started in less than 60 seconds. Good evening, Titan Nation. How is everybody? Good evening, Titan Nation. How's everybody doing? Welcome in to TNT tonight. Welcome to Titans of Truth. I'm your man, Chris, aka Blue Enforcer, and we are going to have a very, very fun episode for you on this evening. Glad everybody could tune in. I know we have a few people already kind of chiming in. Make sure y'all, if you haven't been following already, make sure you share this show out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I am actually doing that as we speak right now. I am also sharing the show out, and I am sharing it, of course, on the Titans page itself. I've already shared it on the TNT Enforcers page, and I'm sharing it to some of the groups that at least, Facebook will allow me to put it on without somebody saying that I'm violating, what they're doing. So make sure y'all share this show out. Y'all come on in. We got quite a bit to discuss. We got quite a bit to get into as a very, important time has come up, and we are going to talk about it. And that is the franchise tag window has opened up. And we're definitely going to go into that. So make sure y'all share this show out and everything. And, if you want any Titans of Truth swag, any t-shirts, hit me up on any of the pages below in the ticker. Or you can hit up Miss Latoya Akinyemi on her email at queenbutterflytees@gmail.com, on Instagram at queenbutterflytees, or on Facebook under her name, Latoya Akinyemi. Or you can hit me up as well on my email. You can hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter as well if you're interested in getting a shirt. Also, if you want a hat, like the one in the graphic, like this one that I have on right here, you can go to my guy Out the Crib Customs. That's outthecribcustoms.com, or on Instagram at out_the_crib_customs. And you can get one of these fly hats, and you can definitely get some Titans of Truth swag just like me. So definitely make sure you definitely support them, because if you're supporting them, you're supporting me. And again, make sure y'all share this show out. We are close to 1,200 subscribers, and we're definitely trying to get over that hump. So again, y'all are helping me by doing that. Definitely, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, definitely make sure you subscribe to the show. You're not going to regret it. We're going to have a lot of stuff coming up, especially with the combine coming up next week, and everything. And free agency is not far away. Free agency is probably in about 3 weeks, I want to say, and everything. So definitely make sure y'all get in for that as well. So let's get into the main reason that everybody is here, and that is because the franchise tag has officially opened. And before I do that, I see Steve Crosio, what's up? Terrence, what's going on? Eyes watching me, what's up, blah? Goddamn, the Sigmas are here. That much is true. Chris Frazier, what's up, my guy? Welcome on in. Again, make sure y'all share the show out. I'm doing that as well. But the franchise tag officially opened today. So not today, yesterday. The tag officially opened today. Sorry about that. But yes, tag open the tag window opened yesterday. So that gives teams a chance to go ahead and be able to put the franchise tag on certain players. And so, you know, you have the exclusive tag, and you also have the non-exclusive tag. And so let's break down a little bit what exactly the exclusive and the non-exclusive tags are. And you also have the transition tags as well. Basically, what you have, the non-exclusive tag is basically that the tag, it would be that they get paid, that the player that gets tagged gets paid the average of the 5 largest salaries from the prior year at that particular position, or they get paid at 120% of their actual 120% higher than the prior year's salary, whatever is greater. And so when that happens, this is the most common one, is the non-exclusive tag. It's basically they tag the player, they are on the hook for that whole amount of money against against the salary cap, and it is an average of the top 5 salaries prior to that year. So whatever the top 5 salaries are for that previous year, they make an average of that, and that's what it comes out to. So, and we're going to get into a particular player that the Titans will probably franchise tag, who I believe is the only option that they are going to franchise tag. But basically, with this, on the non exclusive tag, it is basically that, hey, you can put a player on the franchise tag. They can negotiate with the agent, and the player can negotiate with other teams during free agency. But for example, the Titans. If a player goes to the gets tagged, they can negotiate with other teams. They can sign an offer with other teams, and the Titans would have 7 days to match that contract. They would have 7 days to match that contract. And if the Titans matched that deal, whatever that deal was that the other team offered, the Titans would be on the hook for that deal. Will be on the hook for that deal for that particular player. So the player stays, but it is basically at the contract that the other team put out, and the Titans match that offer. Now, if the Titans decide not to match that offer, and they say, you know what, this is too rich for my blood, the player that was tagged can go to that other team, but the Tennessee Titans get compensation for that. And on the non-exclusive franchise tag, or on any franchise tag, you get 2 first-round picks. And I believe it is that team's first round pick this upcoming draft and next year's upcoming draft. The Titans would get the first round draft picks of that team for the next 2 years. Now, that is the non-exclusive tag. The exclusive tag, I believe, is still the same, and I'm getting that in just a second. Now, the exclusive tag is the same thing. It's the average of the 5 largest salaries for that league year. So it's of the league year or the amount of the required tender under the subsection that is greater. So basically, it is for the league year that you're in, it'll be the top 5 salaries. And with the exclusive tag, which is very, very rare, it would mean that in the exclusive tag, you can only negotiate with the team that tagged you. So, for example, if the Titans did a player on an exclusive tag, they can't negotiate with anybody else. They can't negotiate with anybody else but the Tennessee Titans. And so that's basically what I've gotten from that, is that they can only negotiate with anybody except the Titans, and the non-exclusive tag is a little bit more than what the non-exclusive tag is. Okay, but it's very rare. Very few teams actually use the exclusive tag. I believe Drew Brees had, and I believe Dak Prescott. Excuse me. I believe Dak Prescott was under that as well. Excuse me. I'm sorry about that. Now, of course, the transition tag is something else. And basically, I'm going to streamline it. The transition tag is basically the same thing. It's a little bit less than the franchise tag. So it's a little bit less, but they can still negotiate with other teams, and the Titans will have the right to match that deal. But if they don't match it, the Titans get no compensation at all. So that's the transition tag in a nutshell. It's the same as the franchise tag, but except it's a few million less, a little bit cheaper of an option. But the catch is, if another team offers a higher deal than that, and the Titans decide not to match that offer, they would still have the same 7 days to match that deal. But if they don't match it, no compensation. They just basically go to the other team. You get nothing out the deal. So this franchise tag thing can be a very dangerous game. It could be a game that teams can win and try to, get some leverage in the negotiating process. Also, it is very frowned upon by players. And, a lot of players don't like the franchise tag. They want to be able to go get their money. But a lot of players don't like the franchise tag, and it might put them at a crossroads with their team. So I've given a little bit of a definition of what the franchise tag is. Probably didn't do a great job of explaining it, so forgive me on that. I'm not exactly the biggest expert when it comes to like the salary cap and money, so blame my brain, not my heart. Now, the deadline for this is March the 8th. That is basically about 2 weeks from now. That is the deadline. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, it is exactly 2 weeks from yesterday. That is the deadline. So if the Titans, they have that time to decide if they're going to tag a player or not. Once that deadline passes, you can't say, oh, dag, I want to tag this player. Can't do that. So what does this mean for the Tennessee Titans? because I know a lot of people are asking. As y'all can see in the graphic, I kind of have a particular player in mind. And as y'all can see, there's a nice big money bag in the middle. So, how does this pertain to a particular player? And again, here are some dates coming up. As you can see, we're at the tag the tag window, and then we got the combine open next week. We got the combine coming up. So here is the scenario that we're most likely dealing with, and that is Harold Landry. Now, Harold Landry gave us 12 sacks last year, had 5.5 sacks the year before, 9 sacks and 4.5 in his 4 years as a Titan. Now, rumor is that the Titans want to retain him. And Harold Landry has said many times that he wants to stay. And in my honest opinion, he should stay because, well, we'll get into that in just a second. I'll give my thoughts on this in just a second. But this is the projections that they could be facing. Harold Landry. Now, he's an edge rusher. Now, the question is, does he classify himself as a defensive end, or does he classify himself as a linebacker? Now, because the Titans mainly play a 3-4 defense, and he has always been positioned as a outside linebacker, I think he's going to qualify as a linebacker, which the projections are for a linebacker at $17.5 million. For a defensive end, the franchise tag projection is $18.5 million. So those are the two money line projections for Harold Landry. I think 9 times out of 10, it'll be under the linebacker tag at $17.5 million. Now, what that means is if the Titans do tag him, they will be on the hook for that $17.5 million if Harold Landry signs that tender. And the reason why I say if is because simply this. And this is the question that I'm going to put out to everybody. Harold Landry, to tag or not to tag? That is the question. That is a huge question. So, do we tag Harold Landry or do we not? Let me get your comments and what y'all think the Titans should do. Should the Titans tag Harold Landry or should they not and just let him test free agency? I will let y'all get your comments in and I will tell y'all what I think in just a minute. Remember, you're looking at $17.5 million against the cap. Also, Harold Landry has come out and said he wants to be the high. Harold Landry and his agent have come out and said that he wants to be the highest paid player in the meeting room. Bud Dupree makes $16.5 million. So you're going to have to at least beat that. You got to at least beat $16.5 million. So you're going to have to at least get upwards of $17 million. That's what you're looking at. So the question is, do the Titans do it or not? That's the question. Do they do it or do they not? So I'm gonna read some of y'all comments in, and I thank everybody for tuning into the show. And we are gonna really dive into this and give you my thoughts. Now, Steven says that the answer is probably not going to be decided until after the combine. He says not to tag. Titans' salary is not good, and they have offensive needs. Chris says tag, get some draft picks out of it. I see Orlestruck is in here. What's up, Orlestruck? What's going on with you? So again, tag or not to tag? That is the question. Because remember, now, a lot of teams tag players to try to buy more time to get a long-term deal worked out. And if you tag a player, you would have at least until, I believe it's like July the 15th, or it's sometime in July that you got to get a deal, you get a long-term deal done. Because if you don't get a long-term deal done, then basically the player has to play on the franchise tag. Now, what could also happen is a player could refuse to sign that franchise tag and be like, you know what? I'm going to sit out the season. I'm going to sit out the year because I'm not going to play on that franchise tag. You either give me a deal that I want or you trade me or something like that. I says try to sign him. If we can't reach a deal, franchise him. Now, remember, you only got 2 weeks up until March the 8th. March the 8th is the deadline. Albert said, do the Henry thing, tag him, and resign him before camp. All right. So here's my thought on this. And, you know, I listened to Jared and I listened to some other people. The rumor is the Titans right now at this particular point are not really trying very hard to re-sign Harold Landry. At least right now. On A to Z Sports with Austin and Zach, they both believe that Harold Landry cannot be, that the Titans should not tag Landry and let him walk. Here's my thought on this. And I said this on Facebook. This is my bold hot take prediction. You know, this is what's going to happen. You know how a lot of Titan fans out there, and some of you have been telling me, you know, as much as I bagged on Tannehill after the playoff game, and I still feel the way I feel about Tannehill, that ain't going to change. That Tannehill screwed this game over, and he ain't the right guy for the job. He's a loser. Plain and simple. Tannehill is a loser. He lost us the game, and nothing is going to change my mind about it. I know there are some people that have been like, okay, I was mad at first, but I done came around. I'm okay. I'm not. And so this is the thing. A lot of fans have been trying to come out and say, well, you're stuck with Tannehill. Tannehill is going to be the starter. Deal with it. Just deal with it. Tannehill is the guy going forward. Well, this is what I'm going to tell y'all on this front. Harold Landry ain't going nowhere. Deal with that. Forget the salary cap. Everybody's thinking about the salary cap. Oh, my God, the Titans are over a little bit. What are we going to do? The salary cap is a myth. It can be easily manipulated. I mean, come on, y'all. Take a look at the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs were way over the salary cap, and what did they do? They still signed Chris Jones to a big contract. They still gave Patrick Mahomes the richest contract in sports. Not just in the NFL, but in all of pro sports. And they were over the cap at the time. They were over the cap at the time. Yet they still gave Chris Jones a big deal. They still gave Tyreek Hill a big deal. the year before. They still gave Kelsey a big deal, and they signed Patrick Mahomes to a 10-year, $450 million contract extension. $45 million a year for Patrick Mahomes. But yet they were over the cap at the time. So, the Rams, another team. They were struggling with cap stuff, but they still made the trades for Jalen Ramsey. They had Aqib Talib. They gave Aaron Donald a boatload of money. Aaron Donald's making like 25 million, 25, 27 million a year, which is well deserved. Now they got Matthew Stafford. They gave up Matthew Stafford, gave up their first round pick. I think they gave up 2 years of first round picks for Matt Stafford. They probably got cap issues, but they went ahead and did it. So, the salary cap is a myth. Yes. Is it something you got to deal with? Yes, it is. But at the same time, it is also something you can finagle, you can manipulate, you can work your way around it where it doesn't kill you. There's a way to do it. So, to tag or not to tag? That is the question. And the answer is tag. You tag Harold Landry, not saying that you're going to make a play under the franchise tag. You tag Harold Landry to buy yourself more time, which would give you essentially we're going into March. You're giving yourself essentially another 3.5 months at maximum to get a deal worked out with Harold Landry. That's what I think is going to happen. Like Orlestruck said, I think they're going to do the same thing they did with Derrick Henry. They're going to tag Harold Landry, and they're going to get a long-term deal worked out. Now, 17 mil in the grand scheme of things is not a lot of money compared to TJ Watt, who is making 28 million. I believe Joey Bosa is making the same amount as well. And you got like Aaron Donald's making 24. Von Miller's around 20. I believe Cam Jordan is around 20 to 22 million. So, like some of y'all, Chris Frazier has said Tannehill is the guy, deal with it. I'm going to tell y'all, Harold Landry is going to be here next season and for the long term. Deal with it. You heard it here first. You're hearing it here first. Harold Landry is not going anywhere. So you could put that whole, oh my God, Harold Landry, let him go. Too much money. He ain't going nowhere, y'all. What have I always said? Zach has said this. Zach Bingham has said this. I've said this. What are the 4 premium positions on any team that are the most difficult to replace? Quarterback, corner, tackle, pass rusher. Pass rushers don't just grow on trees. Big-time pass rushers don't just come every single year. And yes, from what I've been hearing, this is a good year for pass rushers in the draft. And I know a lot of people are thinking, well, you got Bud Dupree, you got Rashad Weaver coming back. Remember, Rashad Weaver's coming back off of an injury, and he has a legal thing he has to deal with. Same as Bud Dupree. You need a little bit of reassurance. Harold Landry hasn't missed a game. I don't believe Harold Landry's missed a game in 4 years. Extremely durable. Now, is that going to last? No one knows. He hasn't missed a game. He has been extremely dependable, and he has done a lot of good things. And every year, he's given production. Yes, his first year, he only had 4.5. The second year, he had 9. He dropped off to 5.5. Again, think about what he had around him. Besides Big Jeff, who else did he have? He had nobody else on the other side. So, Harold Landry has to be tagged in lieu of getting a long-term deal done. I don't think it's going to be a thing where we're just going to franchise tag him and we're not going to get a deal worked out. They will work out a long-term deal. Harold Landry will be staying a Tennessee Titan. You can take that to the bank, and that is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me. Bang. That's what's going to happen. Now, some other players that I know that could be, Devontae Adams is one. I don't know if Green Bay's going to franchise tag him. I mean, they want to keep Aaron Rodgers happy. Because, I mean, I'm hearing that Aaron Rodgers, some things are going good in the Green Bay camp and stuff like that. And what you're hearing about Harold Landry, what you're hearing about some other stuff, remember, y'all, this is lying season. This is lying season. There are so many lies, so many smoke screens that are being thrown up. And, you know, executives and people, they're only going to throw out stuff they want you to know and want you to see. They can say, well, you know, things are not progressing well. We're far apart on a deal and stuff like that. Yeah, they'll make you think nothing happens and then bang, a deal gets worked out. So, again, take a lot of things that you hear on social media, on radio show with a little grain of salt. But now with the combine coming up next week, that's where a lot of stuff is going to get picked up. That's where the combine is not just about watching the college prospects, you know, do the 40, bench press, you know, 3-cone drill and all of that. It's about the interviews and stuff with those players and how they perceive themselves when they step to the podium and do interviews with teams. But it is also, this is where a lot of trades, free agency, and a whole lot of deals get worked out. Because it's not only the college prospects that are there, it's a lot of all the teams' GMs are there, and a lot of agents are there for free agents. That's where the DeMarco Murray trade got facilitated. That's where a lot of trades get facilitated. That's where probably the Derrick Henry deal got taken care of. The Tannehill deal probably got taken care of at the combine. That's where a lot of deals go down, is at the combine. So there's going to be a lot of stuff that comes out of the combine you're going to be hearing. I guarantee it. And that's going to be next week. So I think around the 2nd next week when the show, when I do another show, that's going to be when probably some of the first players are going to be arriving. They're going to probably be doing some interviews with teams. You get about 15 minutes to basically say, why should, you know, we draft you and stuff like that. And I believe they changed protocols and stuff like that as well for the combine. I'll talk about that next week because I know there was a rumor that agents were going to have some prospects boycott the combine because of their protocols and stuff. So again, that'll be some stuff I'll report on next week as the NFL combine does get underway. So again, they're going to tag Harold Landry, I think. This is just my prediction. They're going to tag Harold Landry in lieu of working out a long-term deal. This ain't going to be no Kirk Cousins type of deal, you know, where they stretch it out for 2 years, they retag him and retag him. It's not going to be like that. They're going to get a long-term deal worked out. So, after that, I decided I'm going to go ahead and unleash my very first mock draft. So, we're in mock draft season. And a lot of things are going to change between now and the draft. And I guarantee you within the next 2 weeks, There are going to be some players you did not even hear about that are going to be skyrocketing up draft boards and skyrocketing up mock drafts. And there are going to be some players that are going to fall in the mock drafts. There's going to be a lot of players that go up and go down. That's how the combine and that's how this offseason tends to work. And Telly Yo Kick says, hope I run into you in Vegas if you come into the draft. I'm working on it. I am working on possibly coming to the NFL draft and, doing some stuff, doing some footage on that. So, yes, that is something that I do plan on doing. That's something that I'm working on. So definitely stay tuned for that. That is something in this year's mind, in my mind, that I'm planning on trying to do is maybe trying to go to the NFL draft in Vegas. That is a plan I have in mind, and I believe that is something that I'm going to try and do. Absolutely. Not guaranteed yet, but that is something that I do have in mind. So, in talking about the mock draft, there's going to be a lot of stuff coming out about every team, especially the Titans. What are the Titans' needs? As I said in previous weeks, last week, I believe the top needs are offensive line, wide receiver, tight end, quarterback, backup quarterback. Those are my top needs. So, in a lot of drafts, you've seen some players, you've heard some wide receivers like a Chris Olave, like a Jahan Dotson, Jameson Williams, Treylon Burks going to the Titans. You've heard a few of those. You've heard some offensive linemen like Tyler Lindenbaum, the center out of Iowa. You've also heard a few mock drafts with Bernard Raymond from Central Michigan. There's been one or two that said Trevor Penning, the tackle from Northern Iowa. There's been one or two that said Trey McBride, the tight end from Colorado State. There were some early mock drafts with Malik Willis going to the Titans, or Kenny Pickett if he gets that far down. Now, the one that has been kind of irritating me is that there's been a lot of first-round mocks that have mocked a pass rusher to the Titans at 26. Basically assuming that Harold Landry is gone and the Titans are not going to bring him back. Again, I don't listen to anybody. I don't give any validity to anybody right now that's picking a defensive player for the Tennessee Titans. Now, if Harold Landry does walk in free agency, then yes, edge rusher probably goes to the top of the list as the need. Hands down. So, I could see pass rusher only being a need if Harold Landry does not re-sign with the Titans or is not franchise tagged. So, and again, he's going to be brought back. I guarantee. I believe that. I believe that. I'm not going to guarantee that because I don't know, but I truly believe he's going to be re-signed. So, edge rusher, not a need. So, who did I go with in my mock draft? And I did this off of the Draft Network. This is what I used. So off of the Draft Network, the player that I went with as my draft pick at number 26 is Garrett Wilson. I don't know how in the world Garrett Wilson was available for me at this point. Now, obviously, Chris Olave, Drake London were all available at this point. But I thought, Kenny Pickett, the quarterback, was available too. But I just thought Garrett Wilson at that point was just too good to pass up. Now, he's obviously a very good route runner. He has given some production to Ohio State and has done a lot of good. Now there is some negatives as far as he does have some drops. He does have some issues against press coverage. And a lot of people think that he is better in the slot than on the outside. Whereas Chris Olave, a guy who I also like for Ohio State, is a guy who can play inside or outside. So you got those guys. Jahan Dotson was still on the board. He's more of a speedster. He is definitely a slot guy, but he's a guy with more speed. Now, Garrett Wilson has some speed too, but I think Olave and Dotson have more speed. But again, I went best player available. In this particular draft. So that's why I went with Garrett Wilson of Ohio State. I went best player available that fills a position of need because we need a wide receiver. Now, I didn't really watch a lot of Ohio State football. I'm going to admit that. But when I did, Olave was the guy that stood out. And I believe Smith and Joba, who is not in this draft, I know I got his name wrong, he stood out. Garrett Wilson really didn't stand out to me. I'll probably be looking at some more film of him in the coming weeks. So I'll be looking at some film on him and things like that and really learning about him as I will learn about a lot of these players. So again, this is just my very first mock draft that I did off of the Draft Network. And I'm probably going to come to you probably every week with a mock draft. Every time I do a show, I'll come up with a mock draft and stuff like that. So definitely stay tuned for that as time goes on. Let's see. Power Hours coming saying Jermaine Johnson will fill in nicely in the case that Harold Landry walks. And I can see that. But again, I don't think Landry's going to go. Absolutely not. But that is my mock draft pick from the Draft Network. Garrett Wilson of Ohio State. Although in a lot of mock drafts, he's slated to go a lot sooner. Although in a lot of drafts, I have seen Drake London is the first wide receiver off the board. And, there could be a run of receivers in the teens. So the Titans may have to trade up. A guy that I'm intrigued by, again, besides Chris Olave, is Jameson Williams. Because he is the legit burner. Only problem is he's coming off of an ACL. Now, we know how J-Rob likes to go with the injured guys because he's thinking he's getting value. And everything. And he may not be able to help out right away. If you're going to go with Jameson Williams, you better pick another receiver later who can also help right away, like my guy Calvin Austin III from Memphis, who I would love to get in the later rounds. I don't see no wrong with adding more speed. I've been banging my table for that for the last 3 years. So that's why I think they're going to go with that. But it's really not much else to report on as what's going on because this is the quiet part of the offseason and everything. But again, the combine is coming up next week. It is going to be ladies' night next week. Definitely going to try to work on bringing on a guest, a female guest, whether it be in the media or a Titans fan, to come talk some ball as the combine gets started. And everything. So y'all give me your thoughts of what you think of the show and everything as we get into the new league year coming up. Again, everybody, thank y'all for all of the support that y'all have given over this year, this past season. Thank you to everybody for all that y'all have done. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank y'all for helping me get over 1,100 subscribers as we are inching closer to 1,200 subscribers. And as we, help me get over 1,200, I can keep banging out the hits because we definitely got some big things coming up in the future. I guarantee it. Some stuff that's going to be going on, and believe me, there's going to be some little teases and stuff throughout the year with some new things that's going to be coming up. So definitely stay tuned for that. But other than that, it's really not much else to really go into right now. We're going to be talking again about the combine that's coming up. We're going to see if there's any news progressing about the potential of a new Titan Stadium that's coming up that we talked about and everything. I think that's going to be something that probably comes maybe in the coming months and things like that. So definitely stay tuned for that. Again, if y'all want some TNT swag, definitely hit my girl up, Miss Latoya Akinyemi, on her email or on her Instagram or on Facebook. You can also hit me up as well. If you want any of these Titans of Truth hats, hit my guy up at Out the Crib Customs. That's at out_the_crib_customs. And y'all, I think that's going to just about do it for tonight's show. Really not much else to report on. Right now, I know the Titans signed former Tennessee Vols wide receiver Josh Malone, and also, I believe, a Justin wide receiver Josh Malone, and also a linebacker. I believe his name is Justin Lawler, formerly of the Rams, to future deals. Wasn't really going to go into all that because, I mean, those guys are probably not going to make the roster anyway. Those are futures guys. They may be on the practice squad. We'll see going forward what does happen with that. But, hey, it's getting exciting, y'all, with the combine, with the draft coming up. Free agency's a few weeks away. We're definitely going to do some previews of free agency. Definitely going to see after the franchise tag, maybe the week before free agency, what can the Titans do to get under the cap and what moves they could definitely make. Definitely going to try to see if I can get our capologist, Ken Moore, on the show with us. I may talk to Titan Upload, see if I can get him on, as well as we talk free agency and see what can the Titans do as far as getting under the cap and who could they go after in free agency. Tight end, I think, is definitely a question. I know they're going to draft a tight end, but could they also get one in free agency? So, everybody, thank y'all for tuning in to Titans of Truth. I'm your man, Chris, a.k.a. Blue Enforcer. Thank y'all for tuning in, and I will definitely be hollering at y'all in the next week for Ladies Night. And if there's any big news that does come out, I will definitely come out with some news and everything as it does come out with any deals that get done or any big news that maybe comes out that could be important. So stay tuned for that. And I will have another mock draft next week. So thank y'all for tuning in to Titans and Truth. Y'all have a very good rest of your Wednesday. Go watch some wrestling, AEW. Definitely go check it out. And I holla, tighten up, because that's all we know how to do.